welcome to this edition of Headlines Nigeria on Internet Television International. I am Oluchi Madu. Join me as we take a look at summaries of what's making the news today. Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Senate leader expresses doubt over state creation. The Senate leader, Senator Teslim Folarin, on Friday disclosed that the creation of additional states in Nigeria was no more realistic. The Senate leader, while speaking with newsmen in Ibadan after the 10th year remembrance service for his father, the late Hamzat Toyese Folarin, noted that agitators for state creation in the country might have to wait longer than expected. Gunmen kidnap Ondo PDP chairman, demand 50 million naira ransom. The chairman of the People's Democratic Party PDP in Ondo State, Dr. Tayo Dairo, was on Saturday night attacked and kidnapped by unknown gunmen on Benin Ore Road. The abductors of Dairo, who is also the chairman of the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, LUTH, had demanded 50 million naira ransom before he could be released. Next newspaper, anxiety rises over oil spills. Government and community officials have expressed worry over reports of persistent oil spill across the Niger Delta, Nigeria's zone of oil exploration activities. Oil leakages and spillages of ranging quantity have been reported in the last 1 month across the region in states which include Bayelsa, Ondo, Akwa Ibom, and Rivers. Now on this day newspaper, local content board warns Chevron over non-compliance. The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, has issued an ultimatum to U.S. oil major Chevron Nigeria Limited to comply with the provisions of the Nigerian Content Act with respect to its Escravos domestic gas supply projects or face sanctions. Sale of FG houses, Senate committee indicts presidential panel. Senate Committee on Housing and Urban Development has faulted the Presidential Implementation Committee on the sale and alienation of federal government landed property for allegedly obstructing access by commission consultants to its books and financial record. The committee, in its interim report on investigation into sale and alienation of FG houses under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, indicted officials of the PIC for paying to themselves a huge part of interest from the over 80 billion naira proceeds from sale lodged with various banks. Punch newspaper, Oyo teachers begin strike today, AC kicks. Barring any last-minute change in plan, the gates of public schools in Oyo State will from Monday, that's today, be shut against students as their teachers begin an indefinite industrial action to press home their demand for a 27.5% salary increase. Spain deports 59 Nigerians over drugs, other crimes. A total of 59 Nigerians were deported from Spain to Nigeria aboard a chartered flight, Air Europa, at about 4:20 p.m. on Friday. The deportees were said to have been involved in drug-related offenses, crimes, and immigration offenses. Lagos transfers suspected kidnappers to Abuja. 3 suspected kidnapping and robbery kingpins arrested in Owerri, Imo State by the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad Lagos has been transferred to Abuja. The Commissioner of Police Lagos, Mr. Jibril Adeniji, told the news agency of Nigeria on Sunday that the gang had been terrorizing residents of some states in the southeast. Now for some political news. Punch newspaper says northern politicians to meet July 15th over zoning. Northern political leaders will on July 15th converge in Kaduna State to discuss an amicable end to the controversy over the zoning of political offices by the People's Democratic Party. An elder statesman and the pioneer national chairman of the PDP, Chief Solomon Lau, made this known during an interview with journalists in Kaduna on Saturday. LP chief warns aspirants against campaign of calumny. The chairman of the Labour Party in Owo local government area of Ondo State, Mr. Omotayo Akinrogbe, has advised aspirants jostling for different positions on the party's platform to desist from campaign of calumny that could tear the party apart before the 2011 elections. Lagos PDP APGA differ on party deregistration. The Lagos State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has commended the power given to the Independent National Electoral Commission to deregister any party which fails to win any seat in the legislature in the country. Still on politics, next newspaper says parties want police to reopen deputy governor's office. The Conference of Nigeria Political Parties on Sunday asked the Inspector General of Police, Ogbonnaya Onobo, to ensure that the office of the deputy governor of Bauchi State is opened to Garba Gadi to enable him serve the people of the state. It also asked Babayo Gamawa to stop parading himself as deputy governor following the return of Mr. Gadi. Jega promises credible elections in 2011. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Atahiru Jega, over the weekend reiterated his commitment towards conducting credible and acceptable elections in 2011 and promised that 2015 elections would be one of the best in the world. Vanguard newspaper, Abia is free at last. The resignation of Governor Theodore Orji from the Progressive People Alliance was an event every concerned Abia indigene had eagerly awaited for long. When on July 9, 2003, Dr. Chris Ngige, former governor of Anambra State, was abducted by the police on the orders of the reigning godfather of Anambra politics then, Chris Uba, Ngige came out of it and announced that Anambra State was now freed from the clutches of political godfathers. This day newspaper still on politics, 2011, the maneuvers continue. The intrigues and high-wire politics by leaders of the various geopolitical zones in the country in the build-up to the forthcoming 2011 presidential election continued at the weekend unabated. Northern political leaders canvassing the retention of zoning are set to meet political and opinion leaders from the southeast in their efforts to reach out to other zones of the country. Now for business news, Nigerian Tribune, sale of sick banks, FG gives opportunity to local investors. The federal government has disclosed that local investors will not be excluded from the purchase of sick banks that will soon be put up for sale by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The Minister of Finance, Mr. Olusegun Aganga, disclosed this in a press statement issued by the Federal Ministry of Finance at the weekend in Abuja. Next newspaper, stocks and back and forth swing. The Nigerian stock exchange market experienced a mixed week amid mild profit-taking and lack of strong confidence, leading to low demand as investors absorbed the news of the passage of the Asset Management Company Bill. This day newspaper still on business, EU votes 6.5 billion euros for ECOWAS nations. The European Union has offered to make available 6.5 billion euros for financing program initiatives in West African countries under the Economic Partnership Agreement Development Program over a 4-year period, which is 2010 to 2014. This came just as the Economic Community of West African States yesterday said the economy of the countries in the region had witnessed some measure of growth. Fuel imports, budget shortfalls, delays allocation. The move by the federal government to cut down the 2010 budget by 40% is delaying the release of the third quarter import allocation to major marketers and importers of fuel, including the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC. It was learned that the release of the import allocation for the third quarter was supposed to have been done at least 2 weeks before the end of the second quarter to enable marketers plan ahead. Now for sports news, Vanguard newspaper. I am ready for Eagles' job, says Siasia. Beijing 2008 Olympic soccer silver winning coach Samson Siasia has declared his interest to take over the management of the Eagles if given the job. Siasia is a member of the caretaker committee appointed by President Goodluck Jonathan to oversee affairs of Nigerian football after the president ordered all the national teams to withdraw from all FIFA events last week. This day newspaper, NFF, Lulu, Uchebulam, Ogunjobi, sacked. The 3 top officials of the Nigerian Football Federation, the president of the body, Sani Lulu, his vice president, Amaze Uchebulam, and head of the technical committee, Taiwo Ogunjobi, have been sacked. The trio were sacked yesterday in a move suspected to have been made to appease the federal government, which had barred the country from international football after the Super Eagles' woeful performance at the World Cup finals in South Africa. Next newspaper says audit of Football Federation's account begins. A new twist has unfolded in the ongoing face-off between Nigeria and World Football Body FIFA as the Nigerian government intends to go through the financial records of the Nigerian Football Federation. EFCC detains Britain for duping Fashanu 60 million naira. Ex-footballer Mr. John Fashanu has allegedly been swindled of about 60 million naira by a British businessman based in Lagos, Mr. David Littlechild, in a phony business deal. The suspect was said to have on different occasions obtained the money in hard currencies of 300,000 naira and $100,000 before the former Wimbledon forward realized that he had been duped. And that's it on this edition of Headlines Nigeria. My name is Oluchi Madu. Thanks for logging on.